All right, let's talk about a skill that is quickly, and I mean quietly, becoming one of the most critical skills you can have in your career: how to actually talk to AI. Today, we're going to break down the art of prompting, pulling from the work of Mustafa Hameed to show you how this one skill can give you a massive edge. And this quote from Andre Karpathy, who used to head up AI at Tesla, just says it all. For decades, tech was built by people who could write code, right? Well, that's changing. The power is shifting to those who can communicate their ideas clearly just using plain language. It's not about semicolons and syntax anymore. It's about strategy, about clarity. And this shift, it's creating a totally new kind of digital divide. This isn't about who can get their hands on AI. Pretty soon, that's going to be everybody. The real gap is going to be between the people who can direct it with precision and those who just get mediocre results. Let me show you what I mean. Let's take two marketers, Alex and Jamie. Same task, come up with an ad for some new sneakers. Alex types in, create a video ad for sneakers. Simple enough, right? And the result is, well, it's generic. It's boring. But look at Jamie. Jamie gives the AI a role, an audience, a tone, a format, and gets back this vivid, detailed concept with a killer tagline: grip the grind. And here is the absolute key. Both of them used the exact same AI. The difference in what they got back had nothing to do with the technology. It had everything to do with the quality of the thought behind the request. The AI's output is just a reflection of your own clarity. And if you're thinking, okay, this is a skill for the future, I've got some news for you. A 2024 McKinsey study found that 78% of companies are already using AI. So the time to get good at this wasn't yesterday, it's right now. Which brings us to this really powerful idea: thinking of the prompt as a mirror. If you get a fuzzy, confusing answer from an AI, it's not because the AI is broken. It's actually a sign that your own idea isn't quite clear yet. So prompting becomes this amazing tool for debugging your own thoughts. It forces you to figure out exactly what you want. So how do we find that clarity? Well, it really helps to first understand a little bit about how the machine thinks. We've got to meet it on its own terms. And here's the secret, the thing you have to get. AI doesn't think. It doesn't understand or feel the way we do. It's basically a giant prediction engine. All it's doing is calculating the most statistically likely next word based on all the data it's been trained on. It's all math, no meaning. And your job is to give it the right clues to guide those predictions. Our really simple way to start guiding it is with what's called the 3C model. First, give it context. Tell it who it is and who it's talking to. Second, give it clarity on exactly what you want it to do. And third, give it constraints, things like tone or length. Think of these as guardrails that keep its predictions on the right track. Okay, so with that foundation in place, now we can get into the real architecture of a killer prompt. You have to start thinking of yourself less like a user and more like an architect, designing a blueprint for the AI to build from. I absolutely love this quote from Wharton's Ethan Mollick because it's just the perfect way to think about it. The AI has all this incredible raw talent, but just like a brand new intern, it has no idea who you are, what your company does, or what you're trying to achieve. A great prompt is basically a great job description. It gives it all the direction it needs to succeed. So how do we write that job description? We can use these 4 structural beams. First, you give it a role. You are a seasoned financial analyst. Then, you define the goal. Your job is to explain a complex topic simply. Add the context. You're writing for a blog for new investors. And finally, you specify the format. Give me this as 3 bullet points followed by a short summary. See? This structure removes all the guesswork. And just look at the difference this makes in the real world. In education, healthcare, marketing, it doesn't matter. The weak prompts are just vague requests. But the strong ones? They're professional briefs. They use those 4 beams, role, goal, context, and format, to transform a fuzzy idea into a sharp, high-quality result. It's night and day. But look, getting a technically solid result is just the beginning. To really, truly become a master at this, we have to add the one thing the machine will never, ever have: our human signature. Daniel Goleman, the guy who basically wrote the book on emotional intelligence, said it best. Empathy is our unique superpower. An AI can mimic a tone, it can process facts, but it can't feel. It can't truly understand another person's perspective. That's our job. We have to be the ones to breed that human connection into the final product. And the 4E model is a great way to do this. Before you even start typing, think about these 4 layers. Start with empathy. Who am I talking to and what do they care about? Then, emotion. What do I want them to feel when they read this? Next, expression. What's the right voice for that feeling? And finally, engagement. How can I make a real connection? So you go from write marketing copy to write marketing copy for new parents who feel exhausted. That's empathy. In a voice that's reassuring and helpful. That's emotion and expression. That is the difference between writing something that just informs and writing something that actually resonates.
And this brings up a pretty profound question, doesn't it? When we tell an AI to speak, we are, whether we realize it or not, embedding our own values into that voice. It makes you pause and think, whose values are actually coming through here? What this really means is that every prompt you write is a small act of leadership. You're encoding your beliefs about what's right, what's fair, what's helpful, directly into the instructions you give the machine. So prompting with purpose, well, it isn't just a creative skill, it's a moral one.
Okay, so let's tie all of this together. When you combine this kind of structured thinking with real human empathy, something amazing happens. Your whole relationship with AI changes. It's no longer a tool you just give orders to. It becomes a co-pilot you collaborate with. The single biggest mindset shift you can make is this one right here. Stop thinking about prompting as giving a one-time command and start seeing it as the beginning of a conversation. The real magic isn't in that first perfect prompt, it's in the back and forth, the refining, the clarifying, the building of an idea together with your AI partner. People have a really cool name for this model. They call it a centaur team, like the mythical creature that's half human, half horse. And the whole idea is that a human and an AI working together are way more powerful than either one working alone. The human brings the strategy, the creativity, the ethics, the judgment, and the AI brings the raw speed and the power to execute. So, to wrap it all up, mastering this new literacy really comes down to a few key things. You've got to think like a strategist, not just a technician. You have to lead with empathy. You need to build your prompts with a clear structure. And, maybe most importantly, you need to iterate through a conversation, not just bark commands. It's about shaping intelligence, not just using it. Think about it. We are the very first generation in all of human history to have a real, meaningful conversation with a non-human intelligence. That is a wild opportunity, and it's also a huge responsibility. The tech is changing by the day. This dialogue we're having with it has only just begun. So the only real question left is, how are you going to shape it?